I'm so glad you're driving it, not me.
Yeah, no kidding.
Gotta be careful, as it barely fits that roadway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thought about being a trucker and decided no. Air Force would have put me in. Air Force would have put me in school for it. I mean, the VA would have put me in school for it.
Oh yeah.
But some guys have got 2 and 4-inch lift kits for the pilot and whatever their pickup is.
They taking this thing off road or something?
Yeah, they did. Actually, it didn't do too bad.
Well, I know. I watched some of the videos and they're using stock tires and everything else, and it didn't do so bad.
Some guys put K2s on them.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And they did pretty good.
Yeah, but no look.
They are not a body-on-frame truck, though.
No.
But for what they are, they did.
Yeah, it's all-wheel drive thing works pretty well, actually.
And then there's they got a thing.
Mind you, though, most of those ones are the everything package.
Yes.
They're not using the base model.
Right.
So it has all the little fancy
yes,
knobby options like Jenna's Jeep has.
But there is another guy who has a thing called a brake blocker on top of that.
Yeah. Some of them have a lot of fancy features on it.
And it will just about climb a wall.
Pretty much.
I was like, wow.
But in all those different selection modes, then you have another button, and then you have a button on top of the button, and a button on the button.
Just for that, he has like 4 buttons. He can lock each individual wheel. And the all-wheel drive on Honda kind of does that anyway. So it's, for what it is, it's pretty good. Is it the same as that Toyota or us? No, it's not.
What Toyota?
That Toyota 4Runner, whatever that is thing. Sitting there looking at us in front of the little Rammy next to the Chevy. Yeah.
Let's get a high looks.
I'm just saying, for what it looks.
Yeah, I know.
It's not just what when you go to buy a vehicle, it's not the best off-roader you can buy. It's not the best low-slung guy. It's not the best this and that. It's always a compromise.
But when people buy brand new trucks like Rams, and they get the 2-wheel drive version, it just makes you scratch your head like, huh?
Because they're cheaper.
Well, they don't live in the Great White North.
That's true.
They live in like Georgia,
but
Alabama,
I ran around in North Dakota for years with a 2-wheel drive pickup.
Yes.
Put studded tires on the back end.
Yes.
It's just fine. Put weight in the back end.
Yes.
When we chained up the F-250, it pulled out the 4-wheel drive.
We also got stuck through
chain.
Chain.
But the stuff was about
and the shifter and nearly the transmission.
I'm just saying. I'm saying that the 2-wheel drive with chains was pretty hard to beat.
Oh yeah.
4-wheel drive with chains is very hard to beat.
Yeah.
But you can't do that all the time.
No.
And one of the reasons when I saw the thing, I thought an all-wheel drive minivan would be a good thing.
I mean, they're great.
You just gotta find one. And
usually they're like, it's hard to find a minivan version.
Right.
A full-size van, not as hard.
Right.
Now, whether that full-size van's equipped with seats like a regular van, that's another story. Usually they're Chevy Expresses or Ford Econolines.
Yeah.
And you have to modify them.
Well, in the case of the Pilot, it is a bench seat.
Oh.
It does have a lot of things. We did test everything. What we don't have is this factor.
Yeah.
Okay.
The big guy factor.
Well, we do to a point.
Yeah.
It does a good job. The seats do still slide backward in that.
Yeah.
But I was going to mount. I did get the trickle charger installed in the van. Boy, was that fun. I did find a hole where somebody had punched a rubber gorman to bring power through before, but I could not seem to figure out a way to route it through there because there's a gormit inside of a gormit inside of something else. And I could not get the wires to go through. So that's why
my ankles are mostly healed, but every once in a while they'll still give me a little twinge here and there. I'm wondering how long it's going to be until they stop giving me that twinge.
Well, I don't know, but the good news is that's a solid mat in there now. It's not going to slide or buckle up and fold up like the other one did. But I was going to try to mount the 400 up under here, but then I said, you know, if Mama's got to drive it, her leg or your leg may have trouble with that. Then I thought about mounting it here, and if you have to slide the seat forward, then it might have a problem with it. Then I started about mounting it on the wall behind the front seat, and that's fine. Now, if you have to move that seat back or lay back, you may not be able to do it. So then I thought about mounting it next to that thing. It has the air conditioning vents, and that has its own problems. So no matter what you do, there's some complication there. But so it's back under the seat again. That's where it's at now. But I did get the trickle charger installed and tested, and it does work. So if you never use it, that's fine. But it's there if you need it. Boy, that's overloaded.
Something real quickly here. I guess we're doing lunch.
Yep.
You didn't realize you drove past it either.
Drove by what?
Hardee's.
I'm not gonna. We just ate.
Oh no, that was like 3 hours ago.
Wait.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was what my mom
She made
that.
2 of those big sausage egg things for me with buns. I really don't need to eat.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I don't want to teach my stomach to get bigger. I want to try to teach it to get smaller. I
Okay.
should only eat one.
Okay. I didn't realize that's what mom.
That's
mom
what.
made
Well, she was trying to be nice and use the meat so it wouldn't go bad.
I didn't know that.
And there's those little details again.
Fine. So I had all my pills earlier.
Put those about 3 gallons of premium gas in the truck yesterday as a way to rotate that. You might top it off depending on how your bladder's doing. If it isn't doing it, that's fine.
We'll see.
Well, we have a little bit of money right now, so we should probably take care of stuff.
Well, yeah.
And then we have to stretch it out to the 1st.
Almost a buckle warmer than the.
Wonder if it's the guy that's testing.
Okay.
Little thing I said there was somebody who tested. They got a whole bunch of sections on the bridge that are painted red.
Oh.
At some point they're going to jackhammer that out, and I don't know what day that's going to be.
Okay.
So I'd rather know about that before we have to go there.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a problem going there, but I'm just saying that, you know.
Yep. Okay. That's fine.
Making a pickup sort of like the Ridgeway, it looks like. Only smaller, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good luck on that one. I don't know. Better make it fuel efficient, but still powerful.
Well, for a lot of folks, a small one might be just fine, depending what they're doing.
Yeah.
But the old 6-foot bed half-ton pickup is a pretty good, you know.
Maybe they can make it a hybrid or something.
Yeah, I suppose.
Where it's electric and gas.
Maybe.
I think that would be a much better option for the future, at least for the next, say, 20 years or so. I mean, I don't have a problem with them moving to all electric at one point.
It just ain't the point.
But they gotta have a higher capacity batteries.
Yeah.
They gotta have they gotta have the capacity to charge these things.
Have a little teeny gas engine in there.
Now, you know, I wouldn't even mind hydrogen cells if they actually worked. You know, if you put water into the engine, well, okay, well, whatever water.
Yeah.
In the process, it converts that stuff to hydrogen for running your vehicle.
Yep.
I don't see a problem with that. I do not see a problem with that at all. As long as it doesn't blow up, of course.
There is an important detail.
You know, I don't mind the EV electric vehicle thing if they can get it to work where it doesn't destroy the economy and everything else.
It's not ready.
But a hybrid vehicle where it's using some electricity and some gas, and the gas engine helps charge the battery.
Actually makes a lot of sense. At this moment in time,
for Southern California, fine.
No, but
Arizona, fine.
It works. Kevin's son has got one.
Yeah, okay.
And they use it up here.
Ooh, oh, okay.
And it seems to be doing okay. He said every time you put on the brake, it should generate.
Well, yeah, you got dynamic braking type of thing.
Right.
It brakes and then it provides some charge back to the battery.
They're gonna put that same chassis. They're gonna put like a Camry over the top of it to make it look a little bigger.
The problem with that right now is with the batteries they have. Is I think they're using lithium-ion stuff.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if they're
Prius
using
or not.
Lithium iron phosphate or some other type of battery.
I don't know.
But is the weight?
Oh yeah.
Is more in batteries than the car weight, than the normal car would just weigh.
Right.
No, not the engine, like the whole car weighs.
Again, if you have
the batteries.
if you have a four-cylinder that's 2 liters.
Hell, even if you had a 2-stroke engine.
Yeah, but they're nasty.
I know, but even if you had like a 2-stroke engine, just to provide charging would be something. Even if it used minimum gas.
That's kind of what the Prius does to some point.
Yeah.
At least you're not dead in the water.
If you had it in a vehicle that could go off-road or whatever, because some of these EV off-road vehicles now, they're dead. Well, no, the people who bought the darn things and find out what the real range is, end up having one of these 16 kW generators in the back of the damn truck.
What's the point then?
Well,
could have put 2 5-gallon gas cans.
They do. They put them in there and then they run them and charge them.
Yeah.
Once they dip below 40%, they pull over
and charge.
They kick the generator going. They'll go in to eat and to charge the batteries, to some degree. Somewhat, or You know, unless there's like a high level charger nearby there that can get it cheaper. But yeah, they'll just run those things.
Well,
and then they'll go back out. Sometimes they'll run them while they're driving.
Yeah.
Not recommended, but.
No, you don't want to pull in and pull out at the same time. Usually not a good idea.
Well, no, a lot of them can take it, but they were talking about some of these ones where they've been hooking up solar panels.
Yeah, while you're parked.
No, while you're driving.
Yeah, okay.
It will back. Some of these batteries have back channel like reserve tanks.
Okay.
And some of them you can charge the reserve tank. Now, these are a few vehicles that have this option. They have like a reserve cell that's separate from the main cell, and you can back charge that reserve cell. So when you drop, when your batteries on your main battery is dropped at like 5%, you can switch over to the reserve cell. It's sort of like if you had an auxiliary gas tank, and you're down to that, starting to cough level, you could switch over. Yep. Similar type of idea. Now it may not give you a lot more range, but it might get you to that plug somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if the reserve battery would charge the main battery. I do not know. I read a couple articles on a couple vehicles about a year ago on this, so they may have made more changes since then. But most of these tests are done in Europe too, so. I always thought when they were making all these electric vehicles is the shell of your car.
Yep.
If you covered every last bit of the outside of your car with a solar cell or panel or something, or like you made the mesh of the outside of the car all a solar array or panel or something that was independent in case like one area got damaged or something, you could replace that area and it wouldn't affect the rest of the solaring thing. If you had every possible area for it to charge,
have to have flexible
from the back brake light area to the
have a flex solar.
Yeah, you would have to have something like that embedded into the vehicle.
But then you have to have model specific solar panels.
Whereas
if you put one on the roof and it's flat-ish, and then you've got one on the sides. Okay, maybe one in the back. The front doesn't. You got to cool the engine yet, but it might work to some degree. Look at the people that have done that, and they've done predominantly.
Well, in the 80s, they did the long range.
Yeah.
Those little like tiny car things.
Yeah,
they did long range solar thingies.
Yep.
In the 80s.
Yep.
Mind you, you're not putting your kid and anybody else in the darn thing.
Right.
It doesn't have a lot of creature comforts either, but it's basically a bicycle frame with a shell around it with a battery and a solar thing. But the concept was there.
Yes. Practical at this time, not really, but in the future, maybe.
I know they did a couple. They even had NASA doing some stuff then with them. And if you could make a skin like that around your vehicle, you might have enough to like charge stuff.
Don't know.
Or still, the solar efficiency cells right now are not.
Doesn't work off of moonlight.
Not yet. I think that some of the best solar panels you can buy commercially are about 25-30% efficient, and those are still expensive. Those are still really expensive.
And I don't know how well they like hailstones.
No, they don't. Even if they have plexiglass on top of them, still.
Well, if you have flexing and ice and snow,
same thing. Yeah.
You have to think through all the details.
Well, those solar panels I have for the Pecron,
we wouldn't full time.
It has it's like a 23% efficiency rating.
But it's not to be left out permanent.
No.
And that's why it's in the box.
No. Yeah.
And we should probably do an experiment next summer about using those.
Yeah.
Just as an
probably
experiment.
Because I've watched a couple videos on them and say, you got to be kind of careful setting these suckers up. You don't touch them. When you unfold them, you don't touch the panels.
See, that's part of the problem.
You touch the little things
on the
in between the panels.
Yeah, well, whatever.
And you be very careful how you set these suckers up.
Yep.
Well, the Jackery one I'm not as bad because it's only like 2 panels. That's only 100 watts. Of course, you're never going to get the full rating out of these things.
No.
I think the best I saw on that 200 watt Pecron, the one guy was showing around this time of year, I think he was showing like 163 watts out of his 200 watt solar panel.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is later in the year. If it would have been July, it might have been different.
Yep.
But you're going to get something.
Well, yeah.
You're going to have some coming in. Now, if you put more solar panels in, you could get more.
When we were looking at Gaza, some of those areas have some huge solar panels, but they're also living in a rather warm,
pretty much desert area.
Yes,
more or less.
And they have lots of sun most of the year.
Yeah, it's like Arizona. It's most of the sun.
Most of the year. Yeah. They also have the water tanks on the roof, just like I've seen other
rain collection and stuff.
But
they do not want you doing that in the U.S. Because, and the reason why they don't want you doing it in the U.S. is then you wouldn't be paying for water.
Yep.
Now, if you're on a farm or something, maybe less issues, but
you got your own well. Yeah.
In the city, in a lot of these U.S. cities, they definitely don't like having rain catch systems.
Well, it's a lot of weight.
Because, no, it's not because of the weight. It's because you will be using less city water, which means your bill will be lower, which means less taxes.
Right.
That's why they do not like them in the city.
Okay.
And in some cities, they will fine you for having them.
I suppose.
Whether they're full of water or not, just because you have it.
If you had a downspout that ran to a tank.
Oh, some of these cities, some of these more maybe liberal cities.
Yeah.
Will probably do this. I know people in California have been fined for this.
Yeah, but California's stupid land.
Yeah, well,
didn't used to be, but it is now. Loons are in charge.
I'm not going to say everything in the world's great in the world for prepping, whatever the heck you're going to call it. Well, having a little bit of this, having a little bit of that, especially in the times we're living in right now, it's a good idea.
Well,
have a little extra here, have a little extra there, have a couple jugs of water somewhere, have a little bit of food.
Well, yeah.
Have some canned food, have some dry food.
And that's the nice thing about that is you can make it a week as long as you got the water.
Yeah.
Easily with the food up here, but some people don't have any food in their house.
They're living literally day to day.
Yes.
And some of them have jobs where they're getting paid good money.
Well,
they just don't. Either they're not seeing what's writing on the wall that's coming, or I don't know. They've had the good life for so long that they just going to expect it's always going to be there.
Well, like in Gaza.
And you would have thought after the cough thing that you realize that there's not a lot of stuff in stores when stuff really gets bad.
Well, it doesn't even have to be that.
We're not even talking about toilet paper here.
Well, just before. Well, yeah, even on a normal day, there may or may not have milk. They may or may not.
Well, if you have if we have a bad winter storm, you can't get to the store for
3 days,
a couple days, and you don't have any supply of backup.
You're running out of diapers.
You're into trouble real quickly.
You're running out of diapers. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
But they don't use cloth diapers anymore.
A lot of people have been going back to that actually.
Well, the nice thing about that is, the stinky thing about that is you get to enjoy it.
You got to wash them,
But and you got to have a minute tank.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pain, but it is doable. We did it for a while.
Some people have gone back to them because they've been worried about the plastics and other things.
Yes, causing other problems.
Yeah.
Yep. I would like to get
Although
some of them.
we were all around the plastics and we turned out okay.
As far as
mostly.
We know. Yeah. Long chain polymers can be bad for you. Yep.
Well, yeah. Now they're talking about banning Skittles.
Why?
Because of the blue dye number 4 or whatever the heck it is in there.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I understand. It's pure sugar. It's bad for you.
Well, beyond
tastes really good, but it's bad.
The chemical in the dye might be a bad idea.
Yeah, they've found new stuff that the chemical is bad for you. I'm like, well, everything's bad for you.
You know, but in the old
breathing
days,
is bad for you in some
they
cities.
just did stuff, you know.
I know. Breathing is bad for you.
Look at Art. He's 90 plus years old.
Oh yeah.
Lived on the farm. Lived here. Lived there.
I remember watching George Carlin. He says they swam in the Hudson River to cool off.
Yeah.
Well, the Hudson River back there was full of everything.
Yes. It's a lot cleaner than it was.
Cleaner now.